Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts HD Dream Drop Distance playthrough. Today we are actually going to finish off Sora's version of the grid. We're finally properly at the rectifier. Obviously we turned up here the other day and then I was just like, no, I missed everything on the Solar Sailor. I can't do that. I need to go get everything, and so I did. Despite the fact that, you know, it took freaking forever. But it's fine, because we are going to get everything we need to whilst we're here. We're also going to do the bit where we go back into the world to pick everything else up, because as I said, there's a small area of the grid that you can't actually access during the main event, shall we say, which sucks a bit, I suppose, but these things happen and it could be a hell of a lot worse. Like, I'm thinking of instances where you have to go back into worlds once you've beaten them to collect things. I mean, mostly like the original Kingdom Hearts, there are certain bits that you can't get without Glide. No way, Jose. And so, obviously, you'd have to wait until you'd gotten, like, Glide and then go back in to pick everything else up. It's not a type of gameplay style that I am the biggest fan of in the world. It's not to say that there is not a, there's not a market for it. I mean, the whole idea behind that is that, obviously, worlds open up as you explore them, and you can then obviously find more things in them, and it gives you a reason to go back and explore. However, I think that as a whole is something that tends to work better in more open world titles, where you're already sort of in that exploration mindset, and the worlds are big enough to be able to contain all that extra stuff. Whereas I say with like the world of Kingdom Hearts, the way that they're structured is that while you can sort of explore different areas of them, they are relatively linear in where they want you to go. And so if you manage to get the majority of stuff in a world, and then you're just missing like a chest or what have you, then it's not really necessarily inspiring you to explore to find that chest. If anything, what it's going to end up doing, and what it does in my mind, is just make me go, why are you forcing me to do this? Why are you forcing me to go back to something I've already explored, and yada 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 yada. And it just makes me really very grumpy as a gamer. So I think generally my kind of favourite instances where things happen is if you give me a much more open area to explore, then I'm more likely to want to go back into it later, and I'm more likely to then want to use stuff to get into things. For example, in this very game actually, Traverse Town. So obviously we visited it once. There were certain things we could get, certain things we couldn't get because there were areas that we couldn't access. But the game makes us go back and visit Traverse Town a second time, with more abilities and so on and so forth. At which point, yeah, I'm more likely to explore more on that second journey because I'm more prepared, I know what I'm doing. And that whole kind of second trip where you've got to go back for a story purpose, but the world expanded, that is a more enjoyable way of presenting that whole idea. Because it's not, oh, I'm just going back for one frickin' chest that I don't even know whether it's going to be worth it or not. And it might be really hidden away, so you might be really grumpy and frustrated about trying to find it, because you might not know exactly where it is, and so you've got to explore the entire bloody world map again if you don't have a guide. And as you can see, it sort of spiralled into sort of negative thought processes, whereas something like Traverse Town Trip 2, there's less of that, which is nice. And I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, there's all those ones at the start, but that's okay, because I know where those are and why we can't get them. Which does frustrate me, but we are where we are with that, and there's not a lot I can do about it. But either way, we are into the Rectifier Part 2, and this is effectively the last area of the grid that we'll properly be exploring. There is another sort of small area, but it's effectively 3 small rooms with very little in them, so it's not much to have to worry about. But this area is pretty cool because you've got this sort of the stair structure here. You're climbing up, and then we're going to climb up to sort of the top tier, which is a whole bunch of hexagons in a sort of honeycomb style. Annoyingly, it's not quite as flexible as perhaps it could have been, because in my brain I would have wanted to just be able to go all the way around all of the hexagons and just have a delightful time, but no, there is a kind of very strict, narrow route that you can take through them. As you can see, because certain bits are blocked off by these weird barriers, which is annoying, but whatever. That's basically my response to a lot of things in this game. Just like, yeah, it's annoying, but I can live with it. I mean, I suppose I wouldn't be, you know, having recorded it and then doing a commentary over it if I wasn't willing to deal with it. You see, that this is why when Tom on Hellfire Comms brought up doing Sonic Chronicles, I was just like, no way in hell I'm recording that. I mean, obviously there is the whole thing of, outside of using something like Desmoom to emulate it, I couldn't anyway, but also that is the type of game that I personally am not willing to put myself through playing the game and then doing the commentary on, because Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood is an abysmal piece of crap, and like, I don't tend to be that harsh on games. Now, please, for the love of God, will I finally figure out how this works? Because, I mean, this is like the biggest embarrassment ever, to very clearly not know what the frick I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, I'm generally not that brutally harsh on games. And that's because, for the most part, there is always something to enjoy in most games. Like, even games that I would say are somewhat average in terms of execution or certain different elements, if you can find something to enjoy in them, then even if there are frustrations, it's not necessarily that it's a bad game at all. And there are plenty of games that I played that are kind of merely average, and I had a fun time with them, but I wouldn't necessarily hugely recommend them to anybody. But sort of my list of games that I do have a very, very strong dislike for is quite small in the grand scheme of things. So I have my own Backloggery website, which you can basically use to keep control of your backlog, which I've used for quite a number of years now. I think, yeah, 7 years, which it's a long time. It's the majority of my time doing YouTube. Although I am being slightly cheeky in not adding in a whole bunch of games that sort of I've managed to find that I still had to it, because I don't want to ruin my under 5 unfinished games, because it would easily take it up to 14 again. Don't want to do that. I want nice totals to make it look good. But basically, I own about, or have played, well, owned/played about 250 games in total. Which, I mean, like, my god, that is a lot. I mean, like, in my head I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I've really spent that much time on video games. Yes, I have. And that sort of helps me get a good grasp of what I've played, what I've experienced. It's also nice to sort of, you know, see all the factoids in terms of how many games you've owned on each console. So, like, the consoles which I definitely got most use out of were the DS, the Wii, Xbox 360, the 3DS, definitely. And I'd say, yeah, those are sort of the 4 that I have gotten the most use out of, in the fact that I've played over 30 games on each of them. 31 DS games, 35 Wii games with 3 WiiWare games, 32 Xbox 360 games with 1 Xbox Live Arcade game, and then 34 3DS games with 23 3DS download titles that I have beaten. And oh my god, I finally figured it out! Oh, thank God for that! Yeah, I've used them a lot, and so my hallmark for sort of a relatively well-used console, but maybe not a perfectly used console, is my GameCube/Wii U counter, because GameCube I beat 18 games, Wii U 17, although that will go up to 18 once I, you know, play Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE. And so, pretty much, if I can get over kind of the 30 mark in terms of games owned and played, that's pretty much my, yeah, it's an amazing game. But yes, in terms of games that I really strongly detest, or have a sort of strong level of loathing towards, Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood is certainly one of them, because it's a big pile of crap. It's awful. There is also Paper Mario Stick Star. That was pretty crap and pissed me the hell off quite frequently. There is Epic Mickey. That is another one. That was, I think, more just, it filled me with such apathy that really I could not be bothered with it in the slightest. It was just really depressing. But
sure we'll find
they're just a few really crap games that I've played over the years. But we've managed to make it to the throne ship, and we shall see whether we can rescue Tron.
Sora, let's look elsewhere.
All right. Huh? Oh. Wait, Cora! Let me talk to Rinsler. A little heart-to-heart might jog his memory.
He's a program, Sora. Programs don't have hearts.
That's not true. The Tron I remember, he had something. Hey! You used to be called Tron, right? Clue did something to you to mess with your memory. You're a little confused, but that's okay. Come on. Remember, Tron?
I don't think Rinsler is quite the friend you remember.
He just needs time, that's all. Quora! Tron, don't! Tron, why?
That's what we do. Put the most precious memories in the back of our minds where they're safe. Or in your case, the most precious hearts?
Not you again!
The memory and heart are tightly linked.
Xemnas!
Rub a few memories together, and you get a spark of emotion, a feeling. But in a digital world, memory does not work like that. Nothing is ever felt. You can hold 1,000, 1,000,000 times the information, but there is still no heart with which to parse it. Once, my master Ansem found an old system and made a copy of its master control program, and used it to serve his own ends. This is the original data of that system. Here, data can be copied. Memory can be changed and easily manipulated. Tron is a digital entity, so why would he be any different? He obeys the rules of this world. Sora, what about you?
Me?
Your heart, memories, your data, and your dreams. The bits and bytes that have made up your life so far. Can you say for sure they are not just copies of someone else's?
Yes! My memories and feelings belong to me!
You had better check. Make certain the box's contents match what's on the label. Since you have been chosen.
Chosen for what?
You think this is the realm of dreams, but there you are mistaken. Data does not dream, cannot dream. This world is real. You haven't the slightest idea where you are, that you have already wandered off the path.
What do you mean? What in the world?
Combatant 13 versus Rinsler.
Greetings, Sora. I've been waiting.
Who are you?
I am Clue.
So it was you. You're the guy who turned Tron into Rinsler.
Correct. I had to repurpose his code.
Well, unrepurpose it.
Yes. Under the right parameters, I might.
Huh?
You have a little item called a Keyblade. It can open any lock, isn't that right? Hand it over, and I'll change Rinsler back into Tron.
The Keyblade? I can't. This is what lights the darkness. A chance to make everyone happy.
Ha! Flawed reasoning. I'll have to take it by force.
Tron, why can't I get through to you?
Fight, Sora!
Sora! You're okay! I can't believe it!
Yes, I think Tron heard you. Long enough for me to escape. You can do it! You can get through to him! Sora! You have to fight him!
But, Cora, how can I...
You have that key! It will bring him to his senses.
I'll try! Let's go, Tron!
And so, we begin our boss fight against Rinzler, aka Tron, and yeah, this is not an easy fight, not by a long shot. Rinzler is quite aggressive. He does kind of pause quite a lot, which can be helpful, but he runs about a ridiculous amount. He throws his discs at you. His combos doesn't stagger all that much. And it is just really, really, really easy to get screwed over in this fight. Pretty much the way that the way I definitely recommend taking this fight is by just making use of block, really. Particularly because what happens is that he'll change the gravity, and then it becomes really, really difficult to get your directions going, because the controls are slightly different when you're on the ceiling. And pretty much the way Rinzler works is that he'll always end up running towards you. So it's always pretty easy to block him. The challenge just becomes actually timing the block and then trying to get in any damage you can. But yeah, this is, I would say, probably one of, if not the hardest fights that there is in the game. Because he's much more difficult than you would perhaps expect him to be. And it is because of all his sort of movement options and him blocking, and I can't believe that I just completely missed with that special. That was just like, really? I was doing so well, and then that happened. But yeah, as long as you make sure to block everything as you go and use the counter raid and stuff, that's pretty much your key to victory. It just means that the fight will take a while in comparison to many of the other boss fights. Also, you can see what tends to happen. I get a little bit cocky sometimes. I'm just like, come on, Rinzler, I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna like get all my hits in and be a badass. And in reality, it's just like, no, don't do that. Just do the safe route, because then you're actually more likely to win. And whew, I snuck that one in time. But Rinzler is nearly down. I think that is indeed it. Rinzler is defeated.
Oh, Tron!
I'll deal with you later. I have to retrieve Rinzler.
He reached for my hand. Tron is still in there.
You and that key have a special power.
So do you. Power to make me see it.
So, does that mean we're friends?
Of course. What if my memories aren't my own? No. I gotta be like Tron. Maybe we're walking the wrong path, but our hearts will lead us back to the truth.
So yes, Tron's still in there somewhere, but we're never going to see whether we actually managed to rescue him, which really sucks. But there's not a lot we can do about that. What we can do, however, is finally go pick up those remaining chests. So there are a grand total of 5 left. I believe the first 2 there are in the city here, in the one bit that we couldn't actually reach the last time because they wouldn't let us go there, because we had to go marching forward, which was really quite annoying actually. I always hate it when the games just sort of force you in one direction and don't let you explore when you do want to actually explore. Because then I wonder if I have to come back for this stuff. It's just like, seriously? But there we go, it happens. So the rest of this part is basically just going to be mopping up those final few chests, which will be nice. And you know, I've finally figured out how this works. You know, it only took me the entire world to do. But I got there in the end, and I suppose that's got to count for something. At least it means, you know, when I go through it all with Riku, it's going to be a lot smoother. I suppose it's what happens when you're shifting consoles and how you experience a title. You're just like, I don't know how any of this works anymore. At least I won't have that worry when I finally go into doing the playthrough for 0.2 Birth by Sleep Fragmentary Passage. Because that is on PS4 and has always been on PS4 and will always be on PS4. So it'll be done before, you know, I actually... Well, before the PS5 comes out and they decide to plonk it onto that, which, I mean, is unlikely at this point. Because Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out shortly. So, well, and by shortly I mean in a couple of months' time, which, I mean... already is something that I'm just like, this is incredible, I love it. I can't believe this moment is pretty much nearly here. It makes me very happy. And yeah, my brain's going, why isn't this working? It's because I've got to auto-destruct this thing. Basically, I mean, that's part of it. Or not. Oh, no, I know what it is. The way to open up that door, which allows you to get through something else, which you don't actually need to do, but we're going to do it anyway because why not? This is one of those instances where flow motion breaks the game. Because you can actually get up to the end of the corridor that this will lead you to, or that the door will lead you to. So there's really little point in actually opening this up, although you do need to, because it's the only way that you're going to be able to exit this room, and therefore allow you to get a few other chests. Because yes, you need to use this thingy, which gives you the unlock command, which unlocks the doors, obviously. What is quite annoying though is that every time you enter into the grid, you do have to open up the doors again and again and again. I don't know whether the wall respawns or not. I think it does. But yeah, it's one of those where you just go, really? You really make me do that again? Given I've already done it? Because potentially you are going to be returning to some of these worlds in the future, if, and I do say if, you are planning on unlocking all of the special portals. And also if ever you need to go on a particularly good item hunt. But yes, that takes us to, we've only got one left, and that is just really annoying. But we will find it. We've got another few minutes. We'll get there. And yeah, this is the bit. Basically, I could have just flow motioned up that wall, and wouldn't have needed to do anything. But then I would have had to get the thing eventually, because then I wouldn't be able to get any further down the corridor. So you win some, you lose some, I suppose. But this Koopa Panda could really very much stop attacking me, because I'd rather not die at this point. I'm quite happy with what I've been achieving, and yeah, I don't need death on that. Thank you very much. And now we're going to go on our lovely trek to try and find this missing treasure chest. Now, I'm pretty sure that it is still in the city. Because there were those 3 chests in the upper docks area. So I'm pretty sure that there is one that is in the city somewhere here, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember where it is. So I'm just gonna have to, rabbit on until we actually find it, and then we're done. But we'll say, the thing that I'm surprised that I haven't done yet, and really should do more with, is whenever it's literally there. Oh my god. What is wrong with me? I don't know why I didn't decide to switch over to the dual disc immediately, because that would have made some of this go quite a bit quicker. But then, as you have seen, sometimes I don't necessarily make the smartest of decisions. I try. I do try. But it doesn't always work out. Oh god. See, it's times like this where I do fear that Sora has rubbed off on me slightly. Because I just sit here and just think, Oh yeah, that's probably something Zora would do. That is not a good sign, because Zora just sort of rushes into anything, believing his heart will get him through it. And in reality, that's not necessarily always the best way to go about things, but it's a sort of relatively noble way to go about things. And you sort of go, well, I wish you the best with that. And I don't know where the hell I'm going now, but I might as well use Paul Groove, because always nice when you pull off a new Link command, although it's doing very little right now. And this is the type of rhythm game I hate, where there's not actually a real rhythm, and it just makes me just go, I'm not really getting any decent timing on this. It's just pretty awful. If you're going to give me something like that, actually, you know, make it so that it's in time with the music, like a, you know, regular rhythm game. But then I suppose the last time that Disney, well, Kingdom Hearts did a rhythm game, it resulted in Atlantica. And a lot of finny fun. But hey, that is all of the chests in the grid. Let's see whether we can level anybody up before we continue onwards. We can indeed. Get Alphaba a little bit further along the list. And, oh yes, Joanne can get through that link portal. Brilliant. Can't get anything else really apart from maybe the attack haste, but I kind of want the other stuff. That would be nice. Well, I'll go for it anyway. And Seymour is not level 25 yet, so we can't do that. That's okay. It is, yeah, now time to leave the grid. Oh, it's 2 levels, it's not far. Leave the grid, save up, and we shall drop to Riku and begin Riku's version of the grid, which was obviously meant to be the grid anyway, but hey, these things happen. So, sleep tight, Sora. We'll see you for the next world, I suppose.